They're large, but they're large because they're large companies. And so when we're talking about taking away those earnings, in our view, as a punitive measure, you're punishing the retirees and their 401ks and the pension plans, the firefighters union, the teachers union, the policemen, and others who are invested in oil and natural gas.
You're talking about $4 billion a year in Exxon in tax subsidies that the industry now gets.
Well,
Exxon made $10 billion
that's the
in 3
second
months.
point. That's the second myth I'd like to dispel for you, Jim. And that part is, what are these tax
Do you think repealing those tax
provisions?
breaks would affect the industry stock price?
Well, let's talk about the realities of what those tax provisions are. Those that they're focused on today are standard industry-wide, company-wide provisions. When I say company-wide, industry-wide. These same provisions are available to Google, General Electric, Microsoft, etc. And what the proposals are that are going on the Hill right now, which, like I say, are punitive, they've identified 5 oil and gas companies. And they're saying, we're just going to take that tax provision away from you. We're going to leave it for the rest of industry, the rest of the companies, but we're going to punish you. And we're going to punish you because you're successful. The oil and natural gas industry supports the employment of 9.2 million Americans today. We believe, and the economists have confirmed, there's another 1 million American jobs we could create with the right economic policy. Why we would want to penalize a successful piece of our American industry is beyond us.
But would it be a penalty? I mean, would the industry be affected by a tax cut that compared to your profits?
Well, absolutely. If you raise taxes, you're raising cost. What you're saying is we're going to discourage the very companies we need to rely on to develop America's oil and natural gas resources. And we're going to take away the earnings you have for reinvestment purposes, for purposes of giving to the shareholders, the 401ks, the pension plans, and others, and we're going to take part of that away because you've been successful. Why would we do that in this country? It doesn't make a bit of sense, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the price of gasoline.
But why shouldn't oil companies take some of the burden? I mean, in the discussions of the budget, everybody's getting cut. You know, everybody's getting hurt. Great. Everybody's getting penalized. You know, every federal agency talks about Medicare before they, just today rolled back on that. So, so why shouldn't very profitable companies, and this is the argument the Democrats put forward, very successful companies pay some of that burden, help the debt, help us balance the budget?
Great question. Let me dispel another myth, and the response is we do. We currently pay even more than our fair share. Today, the oil and natural gas industry contributes over $85 million a day to the federal government in the form of taxes, royalties, and the list goes on. The effective tax rate for the oil and gas industry is 41%.
Including royalties?
Well, combination of all the costs to us as an industry, 41%, the effective tax rate for the oil and gas industry. The effective tax rate for the other Standard and Poor's industrial companies, an average, 26%. Now, we pay significantly more than other companies in this country. We are clearly not only paying our fair share, we're paying more than our share. We're not begrudging that. What we begrudge is people coming back and saying, well, let's penalize them further. Let's keep penalizing a successful industry that makes such a significant economic contribution to our country. That's where we draw the line and say, you know, some of these proposals just aren't fair. They're fundamentally designed to punish success. We don't think that's good sound policy.
When you put out that 41% number, does that include, though, the tax breaks? I mean, once you include that into the equation, where are you at?
No, the tax breaks people like to talk about are standard business provisions that apply to everybody. So the 41% does include those. And a combination of, after you figure out what you actually owe the federal government, the 41% effective tax rate applies to our industry. That's what we pay today.